The Weeknd has a better, so is it discography than Frank Ocean, or I'm guessing is basically saying the Weeknd is better than Frank Ocean in many aspects. So
Huh.
honestly, honestly, I never really listened to a lot of Frank Ocean's music. Let alone like I've listened to a lot of The Weeknd. I listened to a lot of Weeknd since 2014, and it hasn't stopped since. Frank Ocean, I haven't really listened to a lot of Frank Ocean at all, to be honest with you.
No, no, neither have I. Which is why, like, when I was looking at the hot take, um, I was a bit like conflicted because if we're talking about the artist that I've known the longest, it was like Frank Ocean. But the artist that's usually like, if I had to pick between which one I was gonna go to listen to next, it would be The Weeknd. So, like, I feel like their fan bases are definitely very similar in the aspects of they view them not just as musicians but as artists. So like as like it's always I always say this to like my friends, like when it comes to picking out who I like, I ask them, are you asking me who I think is the better musician or who I think is the better artist? Because though they aren't always considered the same thing. So is The Weeknd doing better than Frank Ocean on a musician level and how they rank musicianship? Yes, 100%. The Weeknd is doing better than Frank Ocean. Now, if you're asking me who I think is the better artist, I'm gonna be a wimp and say artist subjective and not give an answer to that because I feel like that's causing another war that I don't want to be in.
Like I like with me, I've like with Frank Ocean, I probably haven't listened to any of his songs, nor like listened to a lot of his features on top of that because I'm guessing Frank Ocean has like a lot of good songs. Because a lot of people do like Frank Ocean and they like they like his flow and everything. I think the only song honestly that I have listened with Frank Ocean in it was Slide by Calvin Harris featuring him and the Migos. If you haven't heard that song, it's a
Yeah.
really chill type song, and I really like it. On top of that, too, um, I like it's a nice beat, it's a nice chill vibe. Everything about it is chill as hell. But I just haven't really heard a lot of Frank Ocean to be like, yeah, like I like Frank Ocean, I like what he does, but honestly, I could just. But honestly, I'm just saying I've, I'm more on like the weekend because I listened to a lot of the weekend since 2014. Like I said, like I've listened. I think my first song that I listened to her by him was "Often," and that was in freshman year of high school back in 2014, and we're in 2022. I haven't listened to the weekend for more than what I think good 7 years. Seven.
Outside of the radio, I usually don't go out of my way to listen to The Weeknd that often. Like honestly, I kind of fell off The Weeknd after his Super Bowl halftime during COVID.
Really?
Yeah, like here's the thing. A lot of people loved it because it, like, mind you, it was great artistry. His songs are great. He was doing really hot at the moment, but uh, in my opinion, I need people to realize it's my opinion. It doesn't make it right, but it is my opinion. Um, his halftime performance was a great concert, but it wasn't a Super Bowl halftime. Like there's certain things that like separate the Super Bowl halftimes from normal tour concerts. Like if that was something that he was doing like on big tours that would just happen in football stadiums, and he was doing that, I would have said this is the best type of concert artistship I ever see. But like Super Bowl halftimes aren't really made for art. Uh, they are for keeping up the excitement and just pure entertainment that you don't really have to think hard about. I'm not saying those who enjoy the halftime are stupid, because here's the thing: I also enjoy the halftimes, and I will always be the first to say that I am stupid. So, uh, I don't like to think between the lines of what's happening during a Super Bowl halftime performance. It's supposed to
Hmm.
just be a vibe. And he gave us a concert. Was it great? Yes. Was it Super Bowl material? No. So I fell off after a bit because I was like, this is just who the Weeknd is. This is how he performs. And I accept that. It just may not be for me in certain aspects of things I enjoy.
Hmm. Like I understand what you mean, but also the Weeknd is kind of like the energetic, pop R&B artist of this era because he does stuff outside the box, and he is, you know, type of person to basically make the crowd be energetic, keep them on their feet, keep them on their toes, or just come out with like a banger without even trying that hard.
Yeah.
Like if we have to see like the last time the last time we heard was it I know the weekend didn't really drop anything between like a year between his 2015 album Beauty Behind the Madness to the Starboard album. Yeah, like he did like that was like a good year long wait, or like a near a year long wait of him dropping the album. Starboy, I think one of his songs, I think Can't Feel My Face was in 2014, and it dropped, and that song dropped on his 2015 album. But when he made Starboy, that didn't happen till like 2016. So that's maybe like a year and a half to 2 years of not hearing his music for a minute. Besides that album, and when he came back, he was like, "Yo, the dude had a new haircut, knew everything, changed his look, didn't have the dreads no more, and going more outside the box of what he usually does." Because like I said, I started listening to him when he dropped Often in 2014 in high school. Then it was Earned It, based off the 50 Shades of Grey movie, and then Can't Feel My Face, and then The Hills, and also in 2014, and those were all bangers. Every one of them was bangers off of his his
Yeah.
technically his debut album,
Yeah.
and
When it
you
comes to
know.
like just the comparison in general, like Frank Ocean only has like two albums, and like yeah, overall, of course, like the weekend, like he's had more time. Well, not exactly time, but he has more to his name when it comes to his discography. So, like, yeah, overall, the weekend's gonna have a better one than Frank Ocean if we're just looking at the numbers.
Of
Um,
course.
so, like, in a way, even though it's a quote unquote hot take, it feels like an obvious answer. And more like you're just looking for rage from fandoms. But like even a lot of Frank Ocean fans will admit, like, well, duh, the weekend has a better one. But it's
Mm.
just I never really liked to compare an artist anyway. Like I understand like comparing certain like especially when they're in the same style of music, like comparing their music. But like, the
Mm-hmm.
artists in general, I never usually like to compare them because in a way they're all their own unique selves with the music that they create and the music they
Yeah.
perform. So it's like it's very hard to like especially like if it's anything with the hip hop, R&B, and rap industries, like especially those three are like the hardest to compare because like those are the ones where it's really people really talking about what they know and what they experience. So you're really comparing experiences to experience when you're comparing their music. So I
Like
can't I can't
now,
judge someone based off their experiences.
that's true. That is honestly true. And plus, also as well, like if say for example, if it wasn't Frank Ocean, maybe like The Weeknd and Chris Brown, or The Weeknd and Childish Gambino, and that's
See,
probably more.
that would have been more of a fair comparison, in my opinion. Uh, but at the same time, ooh, see now I'm thinking about it. Uh, if it's the weekend of Chris Brown, it's gonna be Chris Brown. Um, if it's gonna be the weekend and Childish Gambino, don't talk to me.
So,
I
so
don't
yeah,
know.
that's gonna be.
I really don't know.
Because honestly, yeah, obviously that's a different topic for a different day. Like with those
Yeah,
people,
that's a whole other can of worms over there.
but overall, in my opinion, I feel like the Weeknd's better because I just feel like I hear more about the Weeknd, like for pop, than any other artist. I mean, not counting like the female artists of pop, not counting Taylor Swift or Katy Perry or Ariana Grande. I'm talking about the
Katy
male
Perry.
side. Hmm?
I don't even remember the last time I heard a Katy Perry song on the radio. It's the fact that she's so intertwined in the pop that she will always be brought up. But it's been a minute since I've heard
Okay.
Katie's name. If I'm not,
Okay. Yeah, but it's true though. I'm not talking about like, the female aspect. I'm more talking about like the male aspect,
fair
like
enough.
of
But even
of
under the
pop.
male aspect, if we're talking about pop, uh, you have I hate I'm about to say these names. Justin Bieber, uh,
Hmm.
who no matter how much people will hate on him, y'all play his music and y'all wear the crap out of it. Like the amount of times I've heard Peaches get played in my lifetime feels almost the amount of times I heard Baby get played when that song got dropped. It's
Like
freaking ridiculous.
like even at my workplace, even at the workplace, like you know how like every workplace has that that weird music that always be like playing
Played in
24
grocery
7.
stores, convenience stores.
Yeah, all that type of shit. There's this song on like every time I hear it when I'm at work. His song Intentions be playing
Yes.
on the rate on like at the store that I work at.
No, I think the only reason I'm so annoyed with Justin Bieber is that the songs they play, right, for like on the radio all the time about him, are usually his most basic. But like every time I'll have that one friend be like, no, no, you need to go to this album and listen to this one particular song that he helped write. And I'm like, okay, there's a vulnerable side, there's an emotional side. There's a dude who's actually an artist behind this man who literally is painted like an ass everywhere I see. So, which I'm gonna be honest right now. The way he treats his wife sometimes in some of those videos when he's upset with the paparazzi makes me a little concerned. But again, can of worms for another day. Back to the pop industry with men. Um, are you trying to say The Weeknd is the best overall?
Well, that I can't really say that he's the best. I could try to say he's the best overall, but also too, I never listened to Frank Ocean's stuff besides that one song that I said about.
Yeah,
So, like,
but like I'm talking about just like when it comes to the pop industry, like the men artists in the pop industry.
like him in the pop, yeah, he's the most known. That's literally talked about. Yes, like he's the most
I
because
will give you the benefit of doubt of, him and Justin being like the two pop industry guys who definitely have the most songs that are known, that make them known, that like play on radio stations and pop stations and stuff like that, that make them known. But there's so many men who are technically in the pop genre that we forget about.
but because because if you go back to the this happened that happened this past year. The Weeknd's name was in a lot of those in a lot of those nominee spots. A lot,
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Like
and
the man.
that was off of his album Dawn FM alone. So that's why I say the Weeknd is the most known talk about pop artist in this era right now.
All right, all right. I'll buy that. I'll buy that.
Because the Weeknd is the type of person to collab a lot of artists. Don't matter if it's rap, R&B, rock, hip hop, like soul. If you want to go back that far, like too, like he's like one of the most very. I won't say controversial, more like very like spread out type artists to do each like different genres, and he will still sound good on a lot of these people's tracks.